Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Gabe Plays All the Mods 9 to the Sky. This is episode 8. Today I was thinking... Ooh, I always pressed the wrong button. Today I was thinking... Oh my gosh, we need a torch here. I was thinking we should start making some much better mechanism machines. Right now I'm just using like really basic first tier infuser, first tier crushers for a lot of things that require some like crushing and slight infusing, and I've been just like kind of handcrafting things as we go. But I want to work up this episode to just having like the ultimate versions of every single machine and having them hooked up to our system so we can just automate anything that requires like the mechanism stuff. I think that'll be pretty useful for us going forward. I think there's like the end game mechanism reactors as well that like we probably don't really need because we have the power reactors going, but I mean, it'd be fun to build them. I think they have a chance of exploding, which could be fun. So yeah, I think it'd be just pretty fun adventure, and I think we should just work on making these blocks here. So I think the first step with this mod is using the metallurgic infuser. Basically, in order to get like any of the things that we need to upgrade, like these specific alloys, we need to use a metallurgic infuser with some ingredient. So like the first tier, you just use a metallurgic infuser and infuse osmium with redstone. And then the second tier, the advanced one, is when you infuse iron with redstone. And then we infuse that same iron one with diamond dust. And then the third one, or the fourth one, the ultimate one, is when we infuse refined obsidian dust, or refine these diamond ones with refined obsidian dust. And the way you get that is by infusing obsidian dust in the diamond. And then the way you get obsidian dust is just by putting like a obsidian through an enrichment chamber. So, I mean, there's a few steps to get there, but I want to just like start one by one. I'm going to start by just making like a few like basic metallurgic infusers so we can do the first few steps. We'll do the basic one. We'll do the second tier one, and we can probably even do the third tier one if we hook up like a basic crusher to crush diamonds in here and give us the diamond dust that we need. So I'm gonna make 3 of those. I've already run 2 cables down from the top of the controller over here to our lower level. So I'm thinking like down here we'll just start working in this kind of open area here that we have with the mechanism stuff. So let me get us started and then we'll start moving from there. Just real quick before I start the mechanism stuff, this is really bothering me having like our autocrafters here, and I had a planned spot for them, which is up there. So I just quickly moved. I just like tore down the pattern providers and molecular assemblers that we had here in the main room, and I moved up to here. And so now we have, in this room up here, we have 16 pattern providers, and each of them has extended molecular assemblers which can do multiple jobs at a time, and they also can each have 5 acceleration cards in them, so they're all fully loaded here. So this is going to be like I don't know if it's necessarily the most efficient way to do it, but it's like fast enough when you get to this level that I don't really care anymore. So as long as I just keep making these so I can keep making auto crafting recipes, this is like a really fast way to do it. Especially now that we are starting to have auto crafters with co-crafting units in them. This is just going to be the fastest way. And also it just keeps it clean. I think you can fit exactly 16, you can fit exactly 16 up here in this roof space in these rooms. So I think it like looks cool. It looks like there's something going on up there. I still need to put a roof on this whole building, but that was just bugging me. So I just like moved it, and now it's like a lot cleaner. But yeah, I'm going to get to the mechanism stuff now. Okay guys, I've got the basic setup here going with just like unupgraded machines. So basically with the mechanism, to make all the building blocks, we need the metallurgic infuser, and we need to infuse things like these control circuits. And the way it works is you pump in one material that you're going to infuse the other material with. So like for example, this one, you pump in diamond dust and you infuse this infused alloy to get the reinforced alloy. And basically there's 5 key like ingredients that you need to pump in. One is diamond dust. The other one is biomass. And then there's coal, redstone, and refined obsidian. So coal and redstone are pretty simple. You can just pump in straight redstone and coal. So that's what these first two metallurgic infusers are getting, just straight coal and redstone. And then over here, the diamond dust one, we can't just pump straight diamonds in, so we have diamonds exporting into this crusher, which then crushes the diamonds and turns them into diamond dust. For the refined obsidian, in order to get refined obsidian, I'll go through the steps here. Refined obsidian. We need refined obsidian dust, which you get from refining obsidian dust with diamonds. And then you get obsidian dust from enrichment chambering obsidian, and then you can get obsidian easily from a blast chiller when you provide it with lava. So we've got a blast chiller here with lava in it. The lava turns into obsidian. Then the obsidian gets enriched here into obsidian dust. Then the obsidian dust takes a second output from this diamond crusher and gets turned into refined obsidian. And then the refined obsidian ends up in this metallurgic infuser here. And then the last one is biomass, and we can generate that by just crushing any like plant basically. And since we have a wheat farm going, I'm just using the wheat seeds to create the biomass that just goes in here. So now with each of these going, I've made all like the patterns that we would use. So for the redstone one, we have two patterns: the infused alloy and the rose quartz, which is just like some create pattern we might get into later. For the coal, we have the enriched iron and then the steel dust. So you first make the enriched iron with regular iron, and then you make the steel dust with the enriched iron. And then with the diamond, we just have the reinforced alloy and the refined obsidian dust, if we for some reason need to like request some of that. And then because we're already making it automatically here. And then with the refined obsidian, we have the atomic alloy. And then with the biomass, the main thing we get from this is 4 slime balls from 1 block of clay. And then the final thing is the basic control circuit, which I don't know why I'm forgetting this right now, but you get from the redstone one. You just pump osmium into the redstone one. So now we have all the basic capabilities to make all like the basic ingredients for Mekanism. So if I go up to our central control station over here, I look in here. I don't know, we've got a lot of patterns, but we go all the way down here probably. And now we've got 6 metallurgic infusers with patterns. We've got the slime ball, the alloys, the iron and steel, the obsidian dust, the other alloy, and the slime balls. Oh, why do we have 2 slime ball ones? Where's that? Oh, I had an old slime ball set up right here. We don't need this guy anymore. Yeah, this guy. I was doing it really quickly and really rough here, but that is no longer necessary. We can clean that up. And now our control room gets even cleaner, which is nice. So now that we have all the basic building block potential, what we need to do is make the patterns for each of the machines. So if we want a metallurgic infuser here and we want to upgrade it to a basic infusing factory, we need to add this recipe, and then we need to add the recipe for the advanced one and the elite one and the ultimate one. But what I found with Mekanism and Applied Energistics, it's very like these items hold their own kind of ID. So you can't just like, I can't just make all these patterns right now and expect it to work. It's really annoying, but what you have to do is you have to make a pattern for this one, have the system craft one of these, and then when you make the recipe, so for example, I've already done this for the first tier of the infusing factory. I've gone to the basic one. But now, if I want to get the advanced infusing factory, what I need to do is instead of just hitting this and using this recipe, even though it says it can make this, if I just did this, it wouldn't be able to make it. It'll just like think it doesn't know how to get this. So what we need to do is tell it to craft one of these guys. Have it do that for us. I'm sure it did it really quickly. Where is it? Let me just search it. So now that we've crafted one of these guys, and then we do this, then we can make that pattern. And so once we make that pattern, now we can put it in here. And we have to repeat that step again if we want to go to the next one. So since we've made this one, now we want to make the elite infusing factory. We can't just do this. We have to craft one of these, hit start. We take this one that it now crafted, and then we put it in there, and now we get that recipe. So now we can go over here, and we put this guy right there. And then now, once again, it's really annoying, and it's super tedious to do this every time you want to put these machines in. But now we can go to the ultimate factory. We go like this. We make one of these. Oh, I didn't do it. We make one of these. Start. Might take a second to infuse a few things for us, especially because none of our infusing factories down there are upgraded. It's a big guy. Wow, that is slow. What is it doing? Whoa. Does it really take that long? That is painstakingly slow. Wow. Holy crap. Where is this happening? Is this happening? Holy crap. I do have this. I have some speed upgrades from one of these guys. Let me just do this. Go faster, please. There we go. I'll put speed upgrades in them eventually, in all of them, but only when we like actually upgraded them to their like higher tiers. Is that worth it? Really worth it? Okay, so now we take this guy here, like again, like I said, put that guy in there, and boom, now we can make the ultimate infusing factory pattern. Go all the way down here. Now we can make the final tier. So then we can do this for all the machines here in the Mekanism mod, and then like basically we're like just absolutely going crazy with Mekanism. So I'm gonna take a second, well, more than a second, and add in all the patterns for the rest of the machines here, unless I run into some snag like I need something specific that I don't have. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then we should have every machine, and we can start going deeper into the Mekanism mod. Okay guys, I just finished adding in all the machines here for Mekanism, so we have every single machine up to the ultimate tier set and ready to autocraft. I also did all like the relevant upgrades like filter, speed, muffling, and energy. And down here in our like factory area, I've upgraded all these machines now to ultimate infusing machines and ultimate crushers, enriching, that sort of thing. So now we're like ready to just like, we can do a lot with Mekanism now. Something that I think I want to do, and I think is like kind of the end game of this mod, is getting to a fusion reactor. But before we can do a fusion reactor, we need to make a fission reactor. And the fission reactor is like, you have like a reactor that takes basically uranium, same thing that we pump into the the uranium we turn to uraninite for the power reactors. We just use raw uranium, and it goes through this whole cycle of making fissile fuel. So in a fissile fuel, to make fissile fuel, we need uranium hexafluoride in an isotopic centrifuge, which we get from hydrochloric acid and uranium oxide in a chemical infuser. And then this one we get from sulfuric acid and fluorite. This one we get from yellow cake uranium, which comes from the uranium ingot. And going back here, the sulfuric acid we get from, I think we get sulfur dust, which I'm not sure if we get that right now in our system. Let me check. Hopefully we just like produce sulfur dust. Doesn't look like we do. So let's see, how do we get sulfur dust? We can do Pressurized reaction chamber with witch water and oxygen with a block of coal. And then to get oxygen, we pump water into an electrolytic separator. So it's a lot of steps, but interesting. You can turn flint into... I don't think that makes any sense. But this one seems we can do the water, and we'll get oxygen from it and hydrogen. So let's do that, I think, and then yeah. So it's a lot of steps here, but I'm gonna try and lay it out and come up with a plan to support a big reactor. I think I'm gonna like maybe put it. Maybe I'll go like up a floor in this room somehow or something. I'll put like a roof on here, and then go up a floor, and then that's where I'll have like the big mechanism reactor, I think. Or maybe I'll do it on one of the sides. I'll kind of decide, but I'm gonna prep a bunch of the machines and stuff like that, and then I'll show you guys how I end up doing it. We are making fissile fuel. Holy crap, did that take a long time. I did a lot of work to build up kind of the area and get to a point where we're making this much fissile fuel. You can see we've got 868 buckets, and we have the capability of holding 16 million buckets in this very large dynamic tank by Mekanism. Where we are actually is the new and decorated reactor room. So I've put in these steel scaffolding blocks from immersive engineering to give like a structure to the big room, and then this is just copper bricks or cut copper just to do the roof. I like the way it looks orange, but I also think it'll look good when it fully rusts and is completely green, so that's why I chose that color. But yeah, and then this is concrete bricks from immersive engineering. These lights here are sea lanterns that have just been like reskinned through one of like I think the chipped mod. So now I'm using mainly those, except for a few, but I don't think those torches are necessary to keep the room lit up. So now we no longer really have torches in this room. So I think it looks really good. Ouch. We've got these like platforms on either side of the room now, over there and over here. These guys here are thermal evaporation blocks, which make brine from water, which is part of the steps, which I'll get to in a second for getting all the way to fissile fuel. I'm still just in awe of how much fissile fuel we got here. We're making quite a bit now. I think there's some bottlenecks in the system, but for the most part, like, we're making quite a bit. So yeah, let's go down to the basement area beneath here, and I'll show you guys exactly how I did the process flow for this guy. It's definitely been like, I don't even know if several is the right way to describe it, many hours to get here. But yeah, so the first step we needed was sorry, let me just eat this. The first step we needed was uranium, and so how do we get into uranium? We sift deep slate. So we've got 64 igneous extruders here making deep slate because they're placed on magma blocks with packed ice and lava on either side. So all these guys here get ported with the yellow, and they get pushed into this flux hammer with the netherite upgrade, which does a stack at a time, which goes into this flux sieve with a netherite mesh, which has the maximum chances of uranium. And then all the uranium ore chunks end up in this chest. Anything else produced from the sieve gets put into these item trash cans because we have blacklist filters on these pipes, so they will pull out anything but uranium ore chunks there, and also I think on the bottom, because I needed it to be faster so that we'd have more space in here. And then on this one we have a whitelist, so it only pulls uranium ore chunks into this tier 3 autocrafter. And then this autocrafter then pumps all the uranium ore into this ultimate injecting factory, which we now, like I said earlier, we have the ability to make automatically. This makes uranium shards, but it needs hydrogen chloride in here as an extra ingredient to make these uranium shards. And so the way we get hydrogen chloride is we combine chlorine and hydrogen over here to make hydrogen chloride with a chemical infuser. and we get the hydrogen by separating hydrogen and oxygen from water, and we just get the water from these infinite sink blocks. And then the way we get the chlorine is by taking this brine, which we get from those big evaporators that we had up there. We give them water and heat, a heat source. So in this case, we're using a what is it called? A resistive? Is that it? Yeah. Resistive heater. So you just give it power and set how much heat you want it to make, and then that'll change. Or you set how much power you want it to draw, and that'll change how much heat it draws, how much heat it creates, and so that provides the heat, and then it basically just like evaporates water into a brine solution that we can then put in the separator here, which will make chlorine and sodium. And so basically the way I've done it is, since I'm going for like big bulk mass production, so that's why we've got 64 igneous extruders here. We've got 4 of those big evaporators. The water goes in from those sinks, and then the brine comes down on these fluid pipes here. They each come to one of these guys, and there's 4 of each of these separators, which go to 4 infusers, which also have 4 separators for the hydrogen and oxygen. Every single machine here is fully upgraded with speed 8 out of 8, energy 8 out of 8, and muffling 4 out of 4, or else it'd be very loud here, and they wouldn't be as fast. But yeah, so then that's how we make the hydrogen chloride. And then from here, the uranium shards go into these ultimate purifying factories, which again, we have the ability to autocraft now. Every machine here now we have the ability to autocraft. Actually, I did it as we went because we needed more. But this makes uranium clumps, but we need to supply oxygen. So these electrolytic separators that gave the hydrogen for the hydrogen chloride also make oxygen, so that oxygen pumps through here, through these gas pipes and into here. We were kind of getting a bit bottlenecked, I noticed, so I just doubled up. And so these separators make hydrogen and oxygen, but it just dumps any excess hydrogen that we're not using, because over here in this operation, I found that we're not limited by hydrogen. We're limited by like the brine production, but I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. So then after that, it's a couple steps here. The uranium clump then goes into the crusher to turn into dirty uranium dust. And then that dirty uranium dust gets enriched into uranium dust. That gets smelt into uranium ingots. That then gets enriched into yellow cake uranium. And then each of those then gets pumped into these machines, which are all the same, which are chemical oxidizers. And that just takes yellow cake uranium and makes uranium oxide. So then all this uranium oxide, which comes from each of these guys, gets ported over here to each of these chemical infusers, which combine uranium oxide and what's it called again? Come on, show me real quick. Hydrogen something? Hydrogen trisulfide? I don't know. I'll show you what it is exactly. Okay, uranium. It's hydrofluoric acid and uranium oxide make the uranium hexafluoride, which then gets turned into the fissile fuel in here. But how do we get these steps here? How do we get the, what was it called again? Hydrofluoric acid. So to get there, we have to go all the way over here. It's super complicated. Again, over here we have 4 of each machine for productivity. So we take the electrolytic separator and we only pull the oxygen from these guys. So we just pull oxygen. The water again comes from these sinks. The oxygen then goes into this pressurized reaction chamber, which takes more water from the sinks down through these pipes here. And with the oxygen and water and coal supplied by our ME system, we get sulfur dust. Then this sulfur dust gets ported over to here to a chemical oxidizer where it's making, sulfur dioxide. And then additionally, we are getting more oxygen again, and this sulfur dioxide and oxygen get combined to make the sulfur trioxide in the chemical infuser. And then, oh, nice. Okay, sorry. I'm back. The oxygen and sulfur dioxide turns into sulfur trioxide, which then that gets put in here with water. Oh, sorry. The sulfur trioxide gets pumped into this guy here. And then over here, this rotary condensator takes water and turns it into water vapor. And these two guys, yeah, sulfur trioxide and the water vapor then makes the sulfuric acid over here. And then the sulfuric acid comes around, goes into this guy here, gets combined with fluorite, which we have again provided from the ME system. And then we get the hydrochloric acid, or hydrosulfuric acid, whatever it's called. I forget again. Hydrochloric acid, I think. Yeah, hydrofluoric acid. And then that gets put into this isotopic centrifuge. Full upgrades and everything, like I said. And that gets turned into the fissile fuel, which ends up in the dynamic tank up there that I made. So, I feel like I explained that well. I hope I didn't rush through it too much. I have been making this over the course of like 2 days. I think I did like 4 hours yesterday and a few more hours today. Or, you know, just across multiple days. I don't know if you guys have a sense of time, but it's definitely taking a long time. I really like how organized it is. This kind of stuff is what really like is fun for me for modded Minecraft, is just like making these factories that are super bulk and provide like a crazy amount of resources that are perfectly planned and resourced out and stuff. Definitely seems like we, like based on this, we're making enough uranium oxide, but we're bottlenecked by this operation here. And it seems as though like the bottleneck mainly here is probably the maybe this guy, the sulfur dioxide. Yeah, I'd say it's the sulfur. This sulfur dust thing just isn't quite fast enough, it seems. But, well, I guess this sulfur guy is probably... No, because this guy is really full. Just... Yeah, I'd say it's somewhere along this sulfur line, but I'm not too worried. We're producing quite a bit of resources here. Everything is like probably pretty overbuilt for what we need it for. Although I am going to try and make the biggest fission reactor we can make, which would be like an 18 by 18. I plan on putting that guy, I'm thinking, because like those are 4x4s by 18 tall, they stick out of the roof. This guy here is a 10 by 10. Have we made a single dent yet? Not even close. We've got 2,086 buckets. So I don't think we have enough room for this room, like if we were to put on one of these things over there maybe. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we don't even have enough room for an 18 by 18 here. So I think I'm gonna put it over here. I'm gonna add another room over here, just a big reactor room for this guy, because I think this is like kind of the side where this fission reactor is. It's pretty, and then we can leave that other side for like something else, for a different mod or something like that, or maybe we'll put the fusion reactor somewhere else. But yeah, I think we'll put the fission reactor over here, this end of the factory. That one, I think the fission stuff is pretty easy to make. I think I already did it actually. But fission reactor casing is just lead and steel casing, and then just these control blocks and stuff. And then I think we have to make like a turbine which generates steam to make the power and stuff. But then we'll be able to extract nuclear waste and turn that into plutonium and make the fusion reactor, I think, is my general understanding. Yeah, okay, I don't have the reactor blocks in here yet, but I'll get them in. You can see all the different blocks we made, the thermal evaporation blocks, the resistive heaters, electrolytic separator, chemical infuser, rotary condensator, chemical oxidizer, chemical dissolution chamber, pressurized reaction chamber, and isotropic centrifuge, and then the dynamic tank blocks here. So yeah, let me put together the blocks for the fission reactor, and then maybe we'll figure out how to do the turbine thing for it as well. Okay, so I just realized how much time we're at on the episode here, so I'm gonna leave the fission reactor for next episode. But this has been super fun, super interesting. I definitely had to learn a bunch for all the different steps and stuff. So if you guys are curious on how to do it or any specific details, let me know and I'll answer them in comments or in the next episode. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.